when we have a major hurricane moving this slowly, usually the storm is only going to get so strong before he or she essentially sabotages themselves, right? Because a major hurricane slow moving is going to upwell colder waters from deeper layers in the ocean. But the problem here with Melissa is that this specific area of the Western Caribbean, there essentially is no colder water to upwell. There is basically an endless supply of warm water because the oceanic heat content that's different than sea surface temperature. OHC is describing how deep warm water goes. So the OHC is so extreme here in the Western Caribbean that Melissa is not going to upwell any colder waters because they basically don't exist. So she's essentially going to have an endless supply of warm waters, not only for her core to harvest on, to strengthen her wind, to lower the pressure, to tighten the pressure gradient, but that oceanic heat content will also fuel extremely deep convection. We've seen that on the HAF's simulated satellite. Extremely deep convection, those silvers and pinks. That is very torrential rainfall, and if that CDO, again, like I said, sits over Jamaica while the core is also explosively intensifying offshore, that is a potentially catastrophic scenario if I've ever seen one. That's a situation where the CDO is sitting over Jamaica, sitting over those mountains. You're getting big-time orographic lift, terrain, the steep terrain, big-time 5,000-foot plus mountains will do to thunderstorm clouds, while you also have the core intensifying down there. And then, of course, if the forecast holds, that Melissa is forecast to make a direct landfall into Jamaica, across Jamaica's southern coastline. If she does that as a high-end Category 4, or as a Category 4 at all, it would be at an unprecedented strength for the island in terms of their modern records, okay? It's actually pretty interesting to note that Jamaica actually has not been hit with a ton of major hurricanes since modern records began. The last major hurricane that made a direct landfall over Jamaica was Gilbert in 1988, and he was a Category 3. So what we're looking, we had a couple storms come close, right? Beryl in 2024, Dean in 2007, Ivan in 2004, but all three of those storms, they didn't make a direct landfall in Jamaica. They skirted by, kind of parallel brushed the coastline, and even though they did bring destructive winds and rain, it is a completely different ball game when the core, the eye wall of the eye fully comes on shore, fully makes that direct landfall, as opposed to a parallel scraping. It definitely matters in terms of the storm surge potential.